All right, all right. It is Friday. Friday. The weekend is not here, but it's close to being here. Pretty close. Checking everything. We're up, we're live, we're running, we're good to go. Today's episode, pretty interesting. This was an oddity, but nothing that's outside of the norm for criminal justice, sociology, and psychology. Exquisitely not outside of the norm. Psychoactive substances, the effect to the nervous system. Yes, everybody would think, okay, we're talking about a foreign substance, a chemical agent from the foreign national government from outer space. No, we're talking about stuff that's, right here readily. And it's not really the substance that we're talking about. We're talking about you, the comprehensive look and the engagement of the brain, the easy way to understand the breakdown of the neuroscience behind drug use, narcotic use. But we're not talking about the narcotics themselves, all right? Just simplistically. Think of your brain as the most complex supercomputer in the universe, period. It's a computer. It's you. Empathetic, sympathetic. It runs the electricity system of your chemistry. Today, we're going to do something kind of radical here. We're going to try to educate in a scholarly manner those in society about what happens to the brain while under the influence of a foreign chemical, narcotic, illegal, prescription, whatever it may be. Dopamine, endorphin, stuff like that. So, without further ado, when you pour a foreign substance into your drink, opioids or a stimulus, it adds to the engine of impairment. It adds to the engine of central nervous system disarray. That comprehensive neuroscience spark is now being inhibited. Think of putting diesel in an unleaded engine. Sure, it'll run, but it'll run like crap. It's going to affect everything. It's going to affect the electrical system in the car. Why? The engine, the alternator, the crank, the fan belt that's connected to the alternator that charges the battery, that sends all of the juice to your motor, sends the juice to your car, your turn signals, your light, your engagement of your social media that you listen to on your stereo when you have your phone Bluetooth to it. Yes, the chemical still be able to function, but that's a brain communication network. The traffic jam is now happening when that foreign substance. So in common language, let's get on with this. But before we get on with this, we've got primary, secondary researcher Dylan McDonald. Thank you. Other episode researchers. We have Z down in Florida, former graduate, UT, and Chloe Hensley, Department of Criminology. So thanks for the research. Had a pretty good show last night, but this one's going to be better. Everything that we do, and guys, for those of you that do go to the Mediafire site for Facebook, and download stuff, and the links come in through LinkedIn and through Facebook. We're kind of backlogged or kind of backed up, traffic jammed, so to say, because we got a lot of emails coming in and a lot of topics. 697 downloads, as in 65 days, 11,654 views in 65 days. So that's kind of impressive for a new academic scholarly live stream podcast kind of deal. So let's get on with the show. Common language. Imagine your brain is a city at night. All right. Billions of neurons are houses. The neurons in your brain, those are the houses. You're trying to talk to all of them at one time, and they're all trying to talk together at one time. One could equate this to everyone being on a landline system, the old school rotary phones, push button, not the wireless, cell phones you have. They're all trying to talk to each other at the same time. The brain, the neurons in your neighborhood, right up here, the brain's neighborhood. To do this, all the neurons release little messages across a road map, the gap in the brain. That would be the street map, the streets of your brain, the town, the city, the community, to knock on the next door. So the neurons are trying to cross this, knocking on the next door of the neuron house, communicating, sending signals. Drugs come in and flood the street. Think of a real flood. The cars on the road. Water, obstruction. Something is obstructing the highway. Something is obstructing the road. There are too many messengers, which is the narcotic, to block the neuron's pathway to the door in your brain. The gaps, the streets, the neurons communicating across the street, sending the signal. Now the chemically induced is here, the one that you chose to introduce to your body, the narcotic, the drug, the chemistry, the alcohol, whatever it may be. So the messages aren't getting across the streets, all right? It's not happening. Neurotransmitters, the messengers, the house, the neurons, the transmitters in the neuron. Your brain runs on chemicals like dopamine for pleasure, serotonin for the mood, right? Gamma aminobutyric, which is what? The calm. Oh my gosh. To calm down. So you got these chemicals all in your brain, and the neurons are transmitting to each other what we need to release. And then there's the excitement, the glutamate. CJTV's on. Yes, the glutamate in your brain, the neurons, the transmitters. We should be excited. So you've got different means of the neurons and the neuron transmitters stimulating the brain for mood, emotion, sometimes even psychological impairment. Yep, the healthy brain. These are released in precise amounts. When I mean precise amounts, think medicine, the syringe, 2 cc's, 4 cc's, exact amounts of a medication to be introduced to the body. Why? Because the medications affect the neurons, the neuron transmitters, the brain itself, the calming, the serotonin, the mood, the glutamate, the excitement. What's happening with the brain? Drugs are a sledgehammer smashing the storage containers of the neuron for the neutrons to communicate, the neuron transmitters. For an example, amphetamines. Yes, we're talking about a narcotic, but we're not going to break down the narcotic like we're going to have an evil scientist moment about drugs here. Amphetamines force dopamine out. Now, the dopamine itself, it's a pleasure. It's a feel-good. It's the stimuli of, it's the stimuli of everything's feeling good. So now my glutamate or my gamma-me-butyric, that's Latin for the GABA, for the calm. It's coming out now. Now you're pleasurable. The dopamine, the drug has calmed you down, but it's not natural. It's the result of a chemical scream that your brain cannot ignore. The road between the streets and the neuron and the houses is being blocked. It's being told what to send, how to send it. And it's not natural. It's not the healthy brain. So that's kind of a quick breakdown of the neurons and the transmitters that get disrupted in your brain when you introduce something. The stronger the introduced chemical, the more the obstruction is, the heavier the obstruction of traffic, so to say, in layman terms. The key in the lock system of the human brain, the receptors. On the surface of your brain, you have cells. I know you're like this. I thought this was going to be cool, like something cool that's going on in society. No, it's academic. The brain has cells on the surface. They're waiting to be docked and called upon. We're waiting to dock called cell receptors to self-place, to perform a function, perform a job. They are shaped specific to fit neurotransmitters perfectly. Yes, those little brain cells on the neurotransmitters. So think about this. One of those cells gets obstructed. Compare it to a snowflake and a jigsaw puzzle. You're missing a piece. It's not going to work. So one of those brain cells has been changed. Now, we've all heard, drink a lot of alcohol. Let's go destroy brain cells at the local bar on a Friday night. That's where that comes from. Neurotransmitters, the inhibitors, it's stopping. It's like a key to a lock, but you don't have the key, but the locks are there functioning, but there's no key to fit in because the brain cells have been changed. So the neurotransmitters aren't sending perfect signals. There's nothing connected. The drugs mimic this. The drugs mimic that specific brain cell, that specific fit to the neuron for the neuron transmitter to work perfectly. But it's not working perfectly. You think it's working perfectly, kind of like you're impaired, drunk, and driving. You think everything's great. I can drive. I'm good to go. No. It's, as Bugs Bunny would say, a hallucinogen, a mirage, the thing in the distance. For those of you that, remember Bugs Bunny. Heroin, for instance, shaped most, not exactly like, but endorphins. Natural painkillers. Heroin, the actual chemical breakdown of heroin, is shaped to mimic an endorphin, not a dopamine, an endorphin. Natural painkillers take the pain away, take the hurt away. Now, do not confuse the take the pain away, take the hurt away psychologically. It's take the pain away, take the hurt away physically because of the neuro and the neurotransmitters and the job of the neuro and the neurotransmitters. Stop the pain, serotonin, mood, GABA, the calm, the glutamate, the excitement, the dopamine, the pleasure. It's going to change all of this, but the endorphin, the height, the move. Think of someone that is injured and it's a traumatic experience. A mother injured trying to save a child. Yes, the energy, the painkiller so that I can endorphin go save my child. This is a simplistic breakdown of what it's like, but you have to understand there is a chemical foundation and a chemical structure to narcotics that act as that stimuli, that truly act as that psychoactive substance effect to the nervous system. And the nervous system is connected to the brain, cerebral cortex, central nervous system. So when the brain and the neurons and the neuron transmitters are off whack, the roads are obstructed, the houses are not communicating, you have a chemical introduction of something that is designed to shape itself like a brain cell, shape itself like a need for a neurotransmitter, a block, a carrier. Yeah, everything's done and over with. You think it's fine, but it's not. So, put it this way. The heroin, for instance, it slides into the lock perfectly. Yes, it slides into the lock perfectly, even though it's not exactly shaped as what the instance of a brain cell would have to be, but it slides into the lock. The cell accepts it. It takes it in. Oh, you're the key to my lock. It unlocks to what? Ease the pain. Pain-free. The true neuroreceptor is being confused and told what not to feel. The pain is there, but it's being blocked. It's kind of like 100 times stronger than what the body could naturally do through endorphin release. So heroin would be an example to that. Good example. Give me a thumbs up. We're live on a few networks. If it's video's good and audio's good, give me a thumbs up or a 5 and 5 if you're watching. If you're not watching, I'm sure you'll catch this later. Natural artifact highs. Yeah, natural versus artifact highs. Artifact, not natural. Evolution designed dopamine to reward us for things to, keep us alive. It's a fight or flight. Dopamine. Eat a burger, win a game, so to say. Enter a contest. If you can eat this gigantic hamburger, your meal's free. Dopamine. Yes, we're excited. We're ready to go. It's not a painkiller. It's an excitement. It's a mood shift. This is pleasurable. That release, that little squirt of dopamine in the brain, all right? It's a drug. It's like a fire hose, but it's so small and so minute that it actually communicates. Guys, forgive me. I kind of got a scratchy throat from doing stuff around the farm today. So it's like a fire hose because that fire hose signal of that dopamine squirt is so loud to the brain assumes that its activity is vital for survival, meaning the dopamine is hitting the brain. The brain cells are carrying the dopamine to the neurons, and the neuron electronic transmitter cells, those little sparks between the neurons that are making the engine go bang, 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 spark plug, gas engine, suck, bang, blow, the brain. Now it's telling the brain that this is a need of survival. Fight or flight, the dopamine, the activity that you're doing in the moment is vital for survival. The dopamine, the push, the energy, the overcome and adapt. Natural artifact replaces that, much like heroin is shaped to replace or mimic endorphins. Same. So I know it's hard. It's like drinking to a fire hose here right now. But if you got any questions, email it to us or throw something in the chat. The brain is literally tricked into thinking the drug is the best thing ever, better than the natural. So the brain gets used to it. The brain is like a puppy. Wild comparison, isn't it? A puppy that is trained to eat dry dog food. Anybody ever seen a puppy just eat dry dog food? They put that head in the bowl and go crazy. It's like a savage feast for the first time. But the puppy, for the first time, gets wet, nice, chewy, gravy tasting dog food. And eventually, you go back to the dry dog food. The dog doesn't want it again because it's not that stimuli of pleasure. It's not that stimuli anymore of I have to eat fast like a fire hose. So the canine brain does not release dopamine. It releases what? The mood, the GABA, it's calming. This is great. The glutamine, the excitement, the glutamate. I'm getting the wet food. I'm here. I'm ready to eat. But the dry dog food now takes it away. It's kind of odd. It's kind of a weird comparison. But it's the same aspect for you as a human being. The chemical introduction to your brain. It's better than the natural. Thus, that is why we have prescription painkiller addiction. That is why in society there is big pharma, prescribed medication, addiction, and overdose. That is why there is the identity of intervention for those that are on those painkillers. Yes, that endorphin, that painkiller, kind of like the heroin, right? What do you think your painkillers are doing? Telling the body naturally. It's the mimic shape to fit into the key of the neuron. So the neuron transmitter is now saying, oh, there's no more pain. The central nervous system is being effective. Yeah, agnostic versus anti-gnostic. Not all drugs are the go-go version. Not all drugs make you go, 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 high speed. Some hit like brakes. Agnostis, like a pedal, a brake pedal. Agnostis, the stop. Think of a brake pedal on a car or a brake lever on a motorcycle or whatever stops the vehicle that you're on. If you're on the old school bicycle, backwards on the pedals, the brake. It's a receptor shout out. It's a stop everything. Why? It's kind of like a cocaine. Yes, everybody thinks cocaine is the go, 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 go drug. Yeah, not always. It depends on the makeup of the person and how much the neurons and the neuron transmitters have been manipulated in the person. Thus, we get the term in the world of CJ, sociology, psychiatry, the gateway drug, marijuana, Schedule 1, Schedule 2, Schedule 3 on the list of drugs within society or legislative word of law, federal and or state. Yeah. The blockers. You introduce them, the body gets used to it. They sit down and they're like receptors, those blockers from the chemical. And keep in mind, one takes these narcotics, one takes these pills, one takes medication to do this specific job. It's not natural. There's something happening in the life to where the person needs the intervention of the medication. The person needs the intervention of the mood change, the adrenaline, the dopamine, the GABA to calm down the mood. Kind of like those kids that everybody says need Ritalin, the GABA, the mood, calm them down, take away the hyperactivity when it's normal energy of a child, but the parent is not up to that speed for the natural go, 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 go. The acceleration of that dopamine like a fire hose that a child would have. So just because the parent or the adult can't keep up, what's the natural cause in society? I'm no energy. Older, the mood, the GABA is there. So now the dopamine, we got to change it and we got to restrict it down for those we're supposed to supervise so that they can slow down so that we can keep up with them. Yep, that's really actually in a glass jar of truth what it is. They're children. They're younger than you. That little fire hose squirts more and it's more of a go-go. It is. The other modulators, chemicals like alcohol. Now, the gamma series of the alcohol. It's different. It's a GABA, but it's a brake system that's working in overtime for the neurons and the neuron transmitter. And keep in mind, we're trying to keep this in simple language, not like we're on the TV, movie set of House or, episode of House. But that is the brake. That's the instant overtime brake. Thus the stumble when you walk. Thus the slur. The brain thinks it's fantastic. It's great. But the roadway is being blocked. The neurons are being blocked. The transmitters are being blocked. The slur, the stumble. The brain is slowed down. But the perception for you is it's on the go-go. Yes, the action is there. It is there. We're live, so sit back and enjoy or jump in and join it. Now, the reward of the system being hijacked. Yes. The vampire has came chemically induced and hijacked your brain. The neurotransmitters, the roadways are being blocked. The false keys to the neurons, the false keys to the neuron in the brain giving chemical balance or imbalance and correcting it naturally. The language. In the deep center of your brain lies the reward circuit. Yes, it's the engine of motivation. Drugs are like vampires that attach themselves to your engine, your brain, sucking everything out of it. Those drugs, they don't just see it. They drain it and force it to work for the narcotic. The narcotic drains the brain, the neurotransmitter. The narcotic is there to act as a substitute for what the brain is lacking in production. The go-go juice, right? The dopamine, the endorphin, the GABA, the mood shift. That's what it's for. That's why you're taking it. That's why society becomes addicted to it, because it's a replacement. The brain has been trained to work according to the introduction of the foreign substance. Or one specific person has no experience with these foreign substances. Thus, the adverse results of the foreign substance that affect the true nature of chemical balance in the brain. Now the roadways and the neurons, little houses that are communicating to each other, are just permanently shut down. It's trauma. Yeah. The ventral tegumental area of the brain, the VTA, dumps a massive amount of dopamine into the nucleus accumbens, which is the pleasure center in the brain. Yeah. Think of sex. Think of orgasm. Think of the joy of Christmas Day and getting that gift that you've always wanted as a child or as an adult, that massage in the parlor that you were like waiting for that full deep muscle. Yeah, the pleasure. Also aided by the what? Dopamine, the endorphin. Everything's dumping at the same time. It's full pleasure. We're talking about level 2 to level 5, even 10 times stronger than the natural reward for narcotics or drugs that aid in dopamine enhancement. Yes, that's why Sometimes specific levels or specific manufacturers of cocaine add a different chemical compound to aid as that shaped key to fit in the locked door of that neuron to enable the neuron transmitter. And once all the neuron transmitters in the brain, it hits that VTA. And now it's full pleasure. What just happened? We're rewarding ourselves with, oh my God, that was great. We're going to do that again. That's a reward to me. So I'm going to take this drug again, and I'm going to introduce this foreign chemical to my system. And now things are going to be great. Things are going to be fantastic. The addiction, the role model of intervention. It's not hard to kind of, understand when we put it in simple terms. Picture a loop, like an audio loop, like the same song over and over again. Why do you have it on loop? You like it? It's cool. Get your head going. Put you in the mood. Acts as that mood shift, that mood change, that trigger, that VTA trigger. Tegmental area inside. Ventral, the center of that brain where the dopamine comes from. The VTA. It floods the nucleus accumbens of the brain with dopamine. That's in the brain too. I know I'm throwing all these cool words out there. The NA, the nucleus accumbens of the brain with dopamine. Now the brain is hyperactive with pleasure. It's that orgasm times 100. It's that thrill of being in a fighter jet times 1,000. It's that I'm overjoyed times 1,000,000. Yes, that's what it is. It's tricking the brain, but it's not real. It's not what the body is really feeling. It's amplifying. It's kind of like taking a car stereo, putting it in the car. You got everything hooked up. You got it full volume. It's okay, but it's not good. So now you take the audio out of the stereo, plug it into an amplifier, the receive, and then plug the speakers of the output into the amplifier. The amplifier is enhancing the signal. Same thing. If you put it into rationalization, it is the same thing. You're amplifying what is really happening with the introduction to that brain with chemicals. Layman terms, trying to keep this as layman as I can lame it, and not like I'm at a lecture hall at a university. The signal itself, okay, from the nucleus accumbens, then travels to the hippocampus, the memory system, all right? That's where episodes are kept in a filing cabinet, the drawer of memory. Now the brain has remembered that I can feel this way again. All I have to do is get my hands on some stuff that would affect my amygdala, my emotions. Now I can enhance the pleasure. But the amygdala is now emotionally going depressed because the hippocampus is saying, hey, you're not feeling the way you felt when you took this narcotic, or you overexceeded in this prescription drug. We all know what I'm talking about. People that take over the limit of the prescription drug, take 1 a day, take 2 a day, take, whatever. And no, we're going to take 5 today. We're going to take 6 because we want that real compound effect. All of this gives you a feeling of satisfaction, these 2 areas of the brain. Yep, this loops the connection together. It loops the connection together because why? The drugs are there. The drugs are in a certain place. The drugs are telling the hippocampus, amygdala, hey, the emotion, let's change it. Let's get more of that dopamine. Let's get more of that GABA trigger. Let's get more of that pleasurable. Let's get that painkiller going on. It's a loop connection. It doesn't stop until somewhere, somehow, the circuit is broken. Brain damage, cellular decrepitation, breaking down. Those chemicals are not the natural keys to the neurons. So every time that fake chemical is in that neuron, replacing those brain cells, what's happening to that neuron? What's happening to the brain cells that are inactive? They're being damaged. You got the fake key going into the neuron and the fake cells destroying the real cells layered on top. Imagine a big heavy thing on a big weak light thing, just killing it, crushing it, destroying it. The loop connection. This is why certain, rooms or hang out with certain friends can suddenly make you want a drug. Well, I don't smoke unless I'm in a bar with people smoking. I'm a social drinker. Proof in the pudding. Stereotypical sociological text. The brain's not really thinking about it until you're in the hippocampus recovery, the episodic memory drawer. Amangala's like, the emotion, we want to be happy like everybody else. So let's stimulate the brain and the pleasure center, the TVA, tegmental area of the brain. Let's make ourselves feel good today. So let's take something. Let's drink something. Yes, therefore you are learning the addiction. The hippocampus, the limbic system, filing all the experiences away like a filing cabinet that you put the key in, locked it, and broke the key off and threw the little round part away. Can't get into it. You can't, but your brain can because it's in your brain. Now your brain's going to send that GABA out. The dopamine push. We need this. We got to pay attention. This is important. The dopamine, we must feel the same way, the emotion, the happy, the privilege as everybody else. Now the influence of it, the learned addiction. You're learning it. You're seeing it. It's happening in front of your face. When the drug floods the system, the brain learns that the drug is the most important thing of the day. It's the most important thing in your life. It's the most important thing in the environment and the moment. In order to overcome today's problems or overcome the situations in the moment, you must have that neuron transmitter impairment, neuron transmitter blockage, neuron transmitter key substitute to get through the day so that you can feel the pleasure, so that you can not feel the pain, not the emotional pain, but the physical pain. The emotional pain is still there, but the mood blockers suppress the emotional pain. That's the way it works. When you get home, it starts to wear off. I need more. Bad day. I'm back at the house at the bad relationship. I'm back at work with the bad boss who's crappy. Who the heck put this person in charge as the boss? They suck. Bad attitude. They're stupid. Now you've got to mood suppress just so you can get through the day. The hippocampus opens up and says, hey, Amangala, send the emotional signal of, we need something to be happy again. And now you're seeking it. The learned addiction. The physical strengths, the connections, the synapses associated with the drug itself, just ties it together. Kind of like a firefighter rescue knot. Yeah, it's stuck there. It's like a double figure eight. Try to undo the double figure eight while it's got a weight load on it. For those that are firefighters, law enforcement, or military that know anything about knot tying, possibly some Boy Scouts or Girl Scouts out there that know something about knot tying. Yep, that double figure eight. You ain't undoing it when there's a load on it. Even if the load was on it, it's still a pain in the butt to undo on a rescue rope. Everybody understands that. Knows what I'm talking about. Been through like a, fire academy, volunteer, full-time, whatever it would be. 1033, smoke diver, smoke jumper, you all got it. The brain isn't trying to hurt you, people. It's not trying to send you signals to say, yep, we're going to help you harm yourself. You've made it happen yourself. You've created the learned addiction. Yes. Oh, well, there's nothing wrong with a little social drink. There's nothing wrong with a little social weed. There's nothing wrong with a little social cocaine before sex. There's nothing wrong with a little social methamphetamine. Yes, there is. You're dumping false keys in the form of brain cells to affect the neurons and shut down and block the highway of the neurotransmitters. Yep, the brain isn't trying to hurt you, but it is trying to reward you. It thinks that this intrusion of a foreign substance is the massive survival effect. Gotta have it to get through the day. Oh, the stressful part of the day is coming. We need it. Yep. Put it in the chat. What's a good besides narcotics, besides alcohol, what's a good emotion? What's a good GABA? What's a good mood inhibitor? What is a good Amangabla signal to the brain to say, hey, we need this for today to get us through this? Now comes the scary part. I know it's Friday afternoon. Nobody wants to hear this because it's Friday. We're about to go out and hit the bar. Yeah, we're about to go out and throw down with the boys and the girls and have a good time. Go out to the singles bar, get some cocaine, get our scrappy cocos and our silky smooth on. Yeah, right. The innocent approach, right? the inceptive, the wanting trap. You've got to have it. Yes. Sensitization, the inceptive sensitization. It's inceptive. It's natural now. You've built it. It's the want trap. I want to go out. I want to do this tonight. I want to go into this environment so that I know I will be triggered to do this. That's a different scenario other than you stumbled into the environment. Yeah, it's an incentive. If we go here, here's the incentive. I'll be influenced to do this, and my brain's going to say, yes, follow the influence yellow brick road with your peers and your friends. Take that. They're taking it. It's okay. It's good. Drink that. Wanting it. It's called what it is. It's an incentive. Sensitization. The senses. You're sparking. You're adding a new fire to the senses. And you know that sensitization is going to be heightened after you take it. It's going to be huge. It's going to be great. What are you staring at? No, it's going to be that amplified. Researchers. Yep. Looking at me like, when's the sensitization of you finishing this show? Well, the brain's wanting it. Those watching are wanting it. Listening. Your brain gets stuck in the on position. Sensitization on position. I've got to have it. More incentive. Give it to me. You crave the dangerous narcotic. You crave the alcohol. You become a functioning narcotic user. You become a functioning alcoholic. You become a functioning addict to something. Something as simple as gambling can do this. Yes, because gambling is a direct lead to what? What's happening in the gambling atmospheres? Narcotics, drugs, prostitution, cigars, chemicals. Come on, guys. I mean, stop saying, well, that's harmless. No, it's not. If it was harmless, why would there be interdiction programs out there in society for things such as everything I'm talking about? You crave the drug incessively. Got to have it. It's an obsession now. You know it's going to make you sick, but the reward, the incentive of the reward in the moment is more acceptable than the long-term damage. The motivation system, it's divorced itself from you. Pleasure is more important. The motivation of not to take it, that's all been divorced. Even the hippocampus and the limbic system and the environment recognition are saying, nope, divorce yourself from long-term turmoil in the now, the pleasure. That's why the addiction is hard to terminate. Nobody's ever explained it this way to you, possibly. It's hard to quit. Well, this is why. I hope somebody's learning something from this. This was one of those request-ins to a researcher. But we got it. Next, the brain, the CEO of you, the CEO of the business of you, the body. It's on strike. It loses control, man. It's done. The prefrontal cortex. Yeah, the CEO of your head, the prefrontal cortex. Think mental illness. Think TBI. Think injury. It sits right behind your forehead, people, behind the skull. Yeah. Its job is to think ahead, to think what's going this way, to think what's going that way. Eyes, ears, smell. What's going on? Oh, I smell smoke. Let's go walk into the fire. I hear gunshots. Let's walk into it. Kind of like that bad video critique I gave last night for a certain federal agency. Horrible video. That's the God. I know. I need to stop talking. Well, then tell them to stop emailing them to me. I won't have to watch them. All right. Your brain, the front, right? Prefrontal cortex weighs in, calculates the consequences. You've hit the brakes on the frontal cortex because of the need for the narcotic. Everything, the abuse of the entire system that I've spent, how long have we been here? 30 minutes talking about. You've hit the brakes on it. The narcotics have silenced the frontal cortex, prefrontal cortex of your brain, the CEO, the boss man, the boss girl of your brain. Now you've shut it down. Prefrontal cortex, just no gas. The brain can show when someone is addicted. The brain can show when someone is a true addict, even when someone says they're not. Yeah. Prefrontal cortex evaluation. And we're going to talk about that here in a minute. No, we're not going to show pictures of it, but we're going to talk about it just so you get a firm understanding. When somebody says, you can't tell if someone's an addict by, looking at the brain. Oh, yes, you can. Prefrontal cortex. Same thing as hardening of the brain tissue for schizophrenia. Same thing. All right. The drug of choice, it's a prefrontal cortex actuality decrease. That's what's happening. So you will be able to see the decrease in stimuli for the prefrontal cortex in medical procedure that evaluates prefrontal stimuli. Not rocket science. So part of the brain for the prefrontal cortex would say, this is a bad idea. We shouldn't do this in the future, but it stopped talking to you now. You've shut it down with everything that I've talked about for the past 30 minutes. The primitive brain, the aminal brain, the dog brain, the dog that got the first hard food and now graduated to the soft, chewy food that doesn't want to go back to the hard food. You want to stay on the soft, chewy food. You don't want to go back to the primal puppy has to work for it now. The primal brain takes over and the human brain of logic just gives up. They just go straight to the trunk. It's and just lock it up with a key. That's what you've done. Yeah, I know. Somebody's hearing that saying, this guy's telling me what I've done and he's just so blunt and now I'm upset. Well, you did it. Maybe somebody hasn't broken it down to you, and I hope this isn't simplistic level other than some person in a white coat trying to talk all these cool words. Your logic center shut down, the prefrontal cortex. Impulse control, man, it's gone too. The connection between, the CEO, the prefrontal cortex of your brain, and the gas pedal, the reward system. It's serviced now. It's not working because it's a service. You're putting something there to replace the function. Doesn't even really work accurately anymore. It's kind of like you putting an accelerant in the car to make the car run with the gasoline. Yeah, the engine's running great, but you're putting a huge strain on it. An accelerant. I did not say a fuel stabilizer. I said an accelerant. Something, think of a blower. Think of Mad Max and the blower on the car. But the engine is not designed for the blower, but we're going to put the blower and force fuel into the manifold anyway. We're going to risk what? Overheating, fracturing of the block, fracturing of the heads, the pistons of the engine. Yeah, we're going to do damage. Normally, if you want a cookie, your CEO, the prefrontal cortex, may say, wait, man, no cookie, you're on a diet. Yeah, you got to get away from that stuff. In an addiction, that wire of forward thinking of the results, that wire has been cut, soldered, flipped over, taped backwards, and separated. It's not working anymore. The impulse hits. There it is. There's no stop signal up here in the prefrontal cortex. You're just going to do it. That's why it's called relapse. I fell off the wagon. Prefrontal cortex error. Fell off the wagon. I took some more drugs. I ate another cookie. Yeah, prefrontal cortex. That's why there's that relapse. Generally, biologically, the body has a brake system, but you broke it. Yes, you broke it. You broke it like a toothpick after a Christmas dinner. Not the plastic ones, the wooden ones. The plastic ones are kind of hard to break, but them wooden ones, man, just done. The bad decision. Oh my God. The tunnel vision. Myopia. M-Y-O-P-A. The myopia. The bad decision making. Myopia in the brain. Yes, that's a true word. Myopia. P-E-E-U-H. Myopia. The brain loses the ability to see the future, man. It's freaking gone because you've done so much damage to the free prefrontal cortex. It's unable to just discern what's going to happen. No clue. It's not a question of can you retrain it. You've done damage to it. TBI through chemical, TBI through foreign substance, traumatic brain injury, hardening of the tissue, cells, too many fake cells trying to act like the keys to the neurons to unlock the neuron transmitter. The road is not just blocked, it's crumbled. Think of asphalt after a snowstorm. Everybody knows how it breaks up and falls. Yeah, you've hit it with a 50 megaton bomb. It's gone. Yeah, myopia has just done its deal. You're suffering from that tunnel vision and you cannot see the future. You can't even forecast what's good. The risk of losing your job is just not in the picture anymore. Prefrontal cortex. So that's why people have these addictions and that stimuli, central nervous system effect. Myopia is gone. They lose their job. There was no forecast of it. There was, but it wasn't number one on their Richter scale of importance. Spouse, home, your health, your teeth. It's unreal. Look at, everybody sells like meth addicts and just, chewing on filters. And there's no, what is this going to do to me? What's going to happen? The immediate result. The drug feels immediate and urgent. You've got to have it. That's the easy substitute for the myopia. No need to worry about the myopia of the future. What's going to happen? The consequences bad or the consequences of good, of having good non-tunnel loss. Myopia is working fine for those that aren't on impulse control of the narcotic. So I hope this is all making sense to everybody. It was a pretty odd topic, but we got it, so we're keeping it going. Chats are open, YouTube, Rumble. On a request, we're doing a Facebook. It looks like it's going pretty good. You have to be on that, time thing, but we're going to try it one time. I'm going to try it one time. I was told by a expert that it's a dead scroll system, but then I got 2 emails after the expert, so I'm going to see. Probably wind up going to the expert's opinion, though. I just wanted to mainly see if it would actually work and shift out, because we've never done it here on Facebook, so I got it. We're going to cover one more thing that we're going to let everybody go for their Friday, and this is probably the hypofrontal, scary part of the day, the hypofrontal of the brain. Yes, literally, low frontal activity. It isn't just a temporary thing. Once you do this in that temporal area, the front, you've damaged it. It's long term. It's over. Brain cells can't fix this anymore. There is no cellular regeneration naturally to fix that. Brain cells in this area can actually shrink. Thus the term, kill brain cells, shrink brain cells, drinking, addiction. That's where it comes from. Hyperfrontal damage. All right. Hypofrontality. It's done already. You've cracked it. You've dropped the grand mal's vase, and it's in so many pieces you can't re-glue it and grand mal not know that you dropped it and glued it back. It's done. This leads to personality changes. Apathy, lack of motivation, the inability to feel emotion at all, sometimes to be connected to mental illness. Yes, that stimuli over a period of time that dilapidates everything that I've spoke about here for 48 minutes. The damage is done. Hyperfrontality, it's over, it's cracked, it's broken. There's no super gluing it. There's no replacement. There's no natural. Chemical substitution, something to aid in the lack of ability to feel emotions. Well, then you've got, psychology, psychiatrists. Yeah. The medication. Is it going to work? Who knows? You're the one that damaged it. We can't tell unless you guinea pig it. And that's just it, people. Guinea pig it. Only the test programs for the development have the real or non, the placebo effect. We're not even going to talk about that, but there's so much damage it's done right now. I mean, it's medically, you're going to have to induce more medication or more foreign substance to try to fix the damage that's been done. The person with this, hyperfrontality damage isn't just being lazy with intent. The decision making, the hardware is damaged, people. It's like trying to work a computer with a broken memory stick. Yeah, it'll come on, but it's like a glitchy space shuttle running on olive oil. It's not going to work right. Kind of like the gas engine running on diesel. The reduced action of the frontal lobe, especially the prefrontal and the cortex, the common neurological areas that work together. They correlate function. Thus, schizophrenia, the schizoid, the one that now sees theirself as a vampire with no forward ability to rationalize that they're not a vampire after the vampire movie in the bathroom. Last and not least, when we close out from the pre-hyperfrontality, the dark side, the spiral, and to keep this in common language as we close this out before we get to the main motivation of the closure for you and your weekend of enjoyment of substitute of neurotransmitters this weekend. The brain is obsessed with balance. Yeah. Hemostasis, meaning the push, the seesaw back and forth. The brain will push back hard. It's going to push back hard, but when the drugs wear off, the brain slams into a wall. It crashes on the ground because the brain is under such stimuli during the moment of the introduction of a foreign substance that the brain is giving you all the brain has got. But you've got enough of that foreign chemical, that foreign substitute of what the body should naturally produce in your brain. And keep this in mind. We're not talking about those that have that medical abnormality that have been diagnosed by true medical doctors or clinicians in neuropractice. Neuropractice, brain. Not somebody that's a dietitian. Hey, you need to take this stuff. Just shut the front door. Shut the front door. No. True professionals and neuro. That's what we're talking about today. Neuro. The brain's already broke. When the drugs wear off, imagine the brain is just tired. It's burnt out, man. It's done. It's the dark side. The anti-reversal system. That's what you're going to suffer under. And as normal, we could go on with this for a few hours today. A few hours. There's a lot more to, neurogenesis, extended learning. There's so much chronic addiction disease, which is psychological triggers and, Q cells, the damage of the brain, the PET scans of the brain to actually tell when damage is done through foreign chemical substance abuse. Or there's so much to talk about. But it's Friday. And I'm not going to goal post your afternoon and move it for you. Because the glutamate, the memory, the excitement, the endorphins, I want you to experience those this weekend with that gloom and doom or the exactatory transmitter of this guy's making me change my mind with intent. No, the brain's exactatory transmitter is the hijacker of the glutamate, right? The gas, so to say. The mood, the killer. I don't want to be your mood killer. I really don't. It's all academic. So, thanks for joining in today. Tomorrow night, we're going to be back at 6 p.m. with a pretty cool, interesting topic. Yeah, accelerationism in law enforcement. The accelerator. Think of that gas pedal. The brain. That's kind of why we did this show today. To argue sociology, psychology, it's criminal justice, minus everything we've talked about today and put a healthy brain into play that has to overcome the frontal cortex, seeing the future, making the decision on how to respond in that moment of fight or flight. Have a great day.